Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. We are here with episode 5 or 4. I think it's 5 because the other one was 4. This is a quick short video and I'm here with Villanonymous himself as always, and Macario is still missing, and we're on episode 5, ladies and gentlemen, and Macario is still missing. I'm here to talk to Vil on his take on Ric Flair's Mount Rushmore. As recently, he was on a podcast, on the Chris Van Vliet podcast. He speaks, and Vliet asked him, "What is your wrestling Mount Rushmore?" And Keith, he name dropped. He spoke that his Mount Rushmore would be Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and could exchange anyone for The Rock. And he put them all in his Mount Rushmore, stating that the best worker of all time is Shawn Michaels, the biggest personality of the would be The Rock, the biggest draw would be Steve Austin, and and he says you can never leave Hulk Hogan off because he drew a ton of money at a different time frame, but it sold out every single night in the 80s, 90s. So, Vil, what is your take on Hulk Hogan's Mount Rushmore?
Hogan's Mount Rushmore. What?
Did I say Hogan's Mount Rushmore?
You did?
Oh, my bad. I'm so tired. On Ric Flair's Mount Rushmore. What is your take? The spotlight is on you.
I mean, I'll start with the thing that you didn't warn me about first. He said you could substitute anybody with The Rock.
Basically, that's literally what he said. He said he could exchange.
So The Rock is the backup
I.
to the
That's.
four on Mount Rushmore. I don't know about all that.
Yeah, that's basically what he stated. Well, let me put it in words. He said I could put the Rock on there too. It's interchangeable. So basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, like if he had the five of them on Mount Rushmore, I'd be like, okay, fine. I mean, there are only four heads on Mount Rushmore. There's not really room for an alternate, and The Rock is not an alternate.
He is.
Like Shawn Michaels was I don't know about that one. Like he was great and he was a great worker, but he was tough to deal with. People didn't want to work with him. Like he was an asshole. He was a negative personality in the locker room. Like oh.
I see where you're going.
Austin clearly because that is the biggest draw in wrestling probably ever.
Yes.
Like the Austin 316 shirts still sell today, and it's almost 30 years later. Um, Hogan, uh, there is no wrestling in the 80s really without Hogan, because like Hogan dominated WWF. Like Hogan was in Rocky 3 with Mr. T, which set up the whole freaking WrestleMania. Like you don't get WrestleMania without Hulk Hogan. So I get that. Uh, the, the 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 Rock, like he's so good. You can't leave him off as an alternate. But the Undertaker, that man is at the top of the class on Mount Rushmore. Like from everything that he did, every single thing that he did, between being a mentor in the locker room and taking care of the guys in the ring and just being like, you know what, you want to go with this story? I trust you. Let's do this. Like, you don't get the personalities and the in ring talent of Randy Orton without people like the Undertaker. Like Triple H said that some of the best stuff he's ever done is with the Undertaker. Like, I watched the Last Ride documentary. That the Undertaker is just so great. I can't disagree with any part of this Mount Rushmore. Personally, I would have left Shawn off and put The Rock on and had Shawn as the alternate. But if anybody's gonna give you the most perfect Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, it's gonna be Ric Flair because he's worked with everybody. Like he's worked with Shawn, he's worked with Austin, he's worked with the Undertaker. Clearly,
Hmm.
he's worked with The Rock, he's worked with Hogan. Like it's just great.
Yes.
I mean, there's a couple other names that get floated around out there. Like if you wanted to leave off Shawn and you wanted to put on Savage, I'd be good with it
Yeah.
because Randy Savage was just different. He was just a special kind of different. Uh, there's there's not many people that like. You have some of the greats. You have some of the absolute all-time greats. I'm so glad that Ric Flair realized that John Cena does not belong on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Never. Never, never, never. But if you ask somebody like Hulk Hogan, he's gonna be like, "Oh well, brother, I'm up there. You probably have to have Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Nature Boy. Like he'd have a couple of the same ones, including himself. Like this is why I'm glad this quote came from Flair and not from Hogan. Because Flair is so great, he didn't even put himself on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling.
That is very true.
He's so great, and he knows that he's so great that he didn't have to put himself on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Ay, ay, ay. Like, I'm going to get hate. Everybody's going to be like, oh, Shawn was so good. Yeah, watch the dark side of the ring. No, Shawn was not that great.
Listen to all the stories that ex wrestlers say, old wrestlers say, backstage stories.
Watch the Montreal Screwjob episode of Dark Side of the Ring and tell me that you still think Shawn Michaels is a good all-time best worker. No.
Ooh.
Uh,
Any
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
any other remarks for this Rushmore?
I've literally got nothing else to say. Like Flair literally hit it on the head. Like he hit it on the head, and he was modest and didn't put himself on the list. So for that, Ric Flair, can't wait to watch your pay-per-view and your send-off, bud.
Well, to send off this video, you have to do his honorary cheer. We gotta hear it. It's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. You gotta do it for his
No, you
final
do
send
it.
off.
You do it. You do it all the time anyway.
Woo!